Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Mahabharata 386. As you may remember, nobody could withstand Drona. Satyaki came up, and Virata too. They were all being defeated by the great Drona. Drishtadyumna realized the seriousness of the situation. He was fighting desperately, but an inhuman strength seems to have come to the arms of Drona. He was just like the god of death. He was terrible. No one could do anything to check his advance. His advance was very fast. Drona was fighting for the sake of his promise to Duryodhana. He had to capture Yudhishthira. The Pandava army, led by Drishtadyumna, was fighting for their life, fighting for their king. And they were losing. The people around said Yudhishthira is sure to become the captive of Drona today. The war will be stopped now. Yudhishthira will go back to the forest with his brothers. Duryodhana will be happy, and his father too. There was heard the sound of a quickly approaching chariot. It was the chariot of Arjuna. Krishna was driving the chariot as he had never driven before. They came faster than the wind. On either side of the chariot, the dead bodies of the soldiers of Drona could be seen. It looked as though Arjuna was swimming across a river of blood. He now proceeded fast towards the chariot of Drona. The field was dark because of the denseness of the arrows of Arjuna. He routed the army of Drona. He harassed the greatest of all archers, Drona. With his arrows, he was wild with anger against his guru. Who could consent to do such a heinous thing to please Duryodhana? He could forgive Drona for fighting on the side of the Kauravas, but this promise of his to Duryodhana was unforgivable. It was an act to which he should not have agreed. They were all there when the game of dice was played 14 years ago. The horror of it could not have left the minds of the righteous-minded men. This Duryodhana had planned another game of dice, and this guru of theirs had agreed to be an accomplice to this conspiracy. In that one moment, all the respect Arjuna had for his guru was lost. His mind was shocked and grieved by the behavior of his guru. Just yesterday, grandfather had fallen, and today, Duryodhana was up to his old tricks again, with his eyes raining anger, and with his hands perpetually raining arrows. Against Drona, Arjuna fought furiously with his guru. Drona knew that he was beaten. He had a chance, and he'd try to grab it, but he was not quick enough. Arjuna had come to the rescue of Yudhishthira. The sun had set already. No one noticed it. The two armies were withdrawn. Arjuna's face was still red with anger and indignation. The chariots of the heroes returned to the camps. It was night. The 11th day of the war, the first day of the leadership of Drona, was over. It was more of a day for the Pandavas, in spite of the wonderful feat of Drona. Arjuna had easily outshone his guru. Chapter 3, the Trigartas. The armies had returned to their tents. In the Kaurava camp, Duryodhana was, as usual, dissatisfied with the way things were going. In the presence of everyone, he began to show his displeasure. He said to Drona, "My lord, you, of your own accord, offered to do something to please us. We asked you to bring Yudhishthira to us as a captive. You had a chance today, but you did not do it." Drona was upset by the words of Duryodhana. He said, "Of course I promised, but I had also told you that I can do it only if Arjuna is not in the neighborhood of Yudhishthira. I had almost captured your cousin Yudhishthira today, but Arjuna came there at the critical moment." Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.